Welcome to the Hoops&Huddle podcast. I am Malika, and today this is part 2 of our NFL preview show, previewing the season. This episode will drop, after week 1, but it'll be so early in the season that, it'll still be relevant. So we are bringing back Natalia to close it out. For part 1, we went over the AFC in detail, and for this one we're going to talk about the NFC and get into it. So I figure it makes sense to start off with one of the weaker conferences in the NFL. I feel like there are only 2 teams that are relevant in this conference, and that's the NFC East. I'm a Giants fan, so I know my team it should be better. We get better each year. We go as our quarterback goes. So if he is better, we will be better. But if he is not, we will not be. So that takes care of the Giants. But anything you want to say about the Giants, feel free to say it. I love my Giants, but Danny Dimes, our season goes as Dan Dime goes. So, he had some highlights last season, so hopefully he takes a leap that we need him to take. But what are your thoughts on the NFC East? And of course, that means we got to discuss those Cowboys. But I do like watching the Eagles sometimes. So yeah, give me your thoughts on the NFC East.
So Washington, I believe, is going to stay in the exact same spot that they're in. And I think they'll be 4th. In the East, I just don't think they're ready to take the next step yet. Too many question marks. We don't know what their quarterback, I believe, is Sam Howell. We don't know what he's going to be just yet. So we got to see what's going on. But I think that they're building in the right direction. So that's mainly what I could say about them. And I think their defense should improve, hopefully, and they should be stable, but they're building towards the future, and that's okay. The Giants, I really like the Giants this year. Danny Dimes, I've never been a fan of. Never been a fan. But he had a good season last year, and it was progress. And he's moving in the right direction, and that's what you got to look at from somebody like.
That's what I'm encouraged by, to be honest.
Yeah, you be encouraged by it.
Right direction.
Yeah, you got to be encouraged by it, because if you think about it, usually guys, that's had a few seasons under their belt that usually are a question mark with us, they start moving in the other direction. So now people start looking for a replacement. And he's moving in the positive direction. So he's moving up. And then you add Darren Waller. And Waller is big.
That was we needed improvement at the tight end. So to have Darren Waller in there, I'm excited to watch him play every Sunday, watch this team play every Sunday. So we'll see what they do. We'll see. We'll see. I feel like, right now we're teetering mid, but we'll see. I like the direction we're going, but I just feel like the Giants find a way to, to skirt my hopes. So we'll see what happens.
I don't know about your wide receivers. I think that there's some question marks there too. Somebody's going to give you 600 yards, as far as a wide receiver, and that's whatever. But you have Darren Waller, you added him, and then you have Saquon, who was healthy and is healthy, so you added talent. And if you add talent, I'm going to assume you're going to add some wins. So I think the Giants will be fun this year, and I'm expecting something good. And, I'm going to hope that they're going to be really good, because on my fantasy team, I have Danny Dimes and Waller. I got that double stack right there, so I got to hope that, they're gonna be like magic, so I hope they're gonna be fun though. When it comes to Dallas, I like Dallas. I always have liked Dallas. I think that they are a fun team.
America's team. Not.
I don't know which America, but not but they are a fun team. and they've always been fun. I've been a huge fan of Zeke, since he got into the league, and to not see him in a Cowboys jersey is so
Yeah, that's weird. That's
interesting.
gonna be weird. That is
It's
gonna be
weird
weird.
to be on the Patriots of all teams. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
wow.
Mm-hmm.
But now the thing I'm curious to see about Dallas, because I think that CeeDee Lamb is going to take off even more. He was so good last year. It was great. And that was with, I think, 3 different quarterbacks, because Dak got hurt the first half of the season, first part of the season, and then someone else stepped in, like Cooper Rush or something like that. And CD was still really damn good. And now you add Brandon Cooks, to that roster as the WR2. And I think that that's going to spell well for CeeDee Lamb. It's going to get him more open. So I really like what Dallas is doing. And then, when it comes to the running back situation, Tony Pollard, it's all him now. The
It's
thing
all
is,
him. He doesn't have Zeke over his shoulder
you
now.
can't lean on Zeke, but Zeke was a great blocker. He was a
Yeah.
great blocker. Like, his body is important. That's why he's one of the best running backs we've seen in a very long time. He can block. Tony, I don't know if you can do all of that. I don't know if you can do what Zeke can do. So are you going to be as explosive as we think you are? And that remains to be seen. So I think that, we'll see what happens with Dallas. Every year I say that they're contenders, because they're contenders until they get knocked out. You're going to have to knock them out. But their defense was so great last year. I think their defense is going to be great again this year. Dak is Dak. I really do like Dak, especially for fantasy purposes. I really do like Dak. But when it comes to the season, he needs, I think, a better coach. I don't think that they found the right coach for him yet. They keep missing the mark. So McCarthy is not the right coach for Dallas, and he's not the right coach for Dak. So until they, figure out that coaching situation, I think that they're going to find themselves still losing in the playoffs.
Yeah. And the Eagles.
What can you say about the Eagles? I mean, fresh off the Super Bowl run, they lost to, the great Patrick Mahomes. Jalen Hurts had a phenomenal year last year. They have one of the most interesting running back dynamics I can remember in previous seasons, because they have DeAndre Swift, who comes from Detroit, and they have Rashad Penny that I believe comes from the Seahawks. And I think they still have Boston Scott there, and I think Gainwell is his name, but they're all really good running backs. And I think if you give any of those guys the free run to just have to do 3 downs, they can all do it. But Rashad Penny, he's the most unluckiest man I've ever seen as a running back, because he gets injured every year. And if his body would catch up with his talent, he would be a top 5 running back every year. He's so damn good. If DeAndre Swift is healthy, he should be the clear RB1. But Rashad Penny is right there. If those guys, if one goes down, the other one's going to take it over. Easy. So that running back situation is very, very interesting to me. And then when you have the wide receivers, you got AJ Brown and you got Smith, and they're going to be a 2-headed monster again, an elite. I see this team going deep again. I don't see many holes. I want to see how, that defense holds up again, and make sure that they are as aggressive as they were last year. But yeah, the Eagles. It's the Eagles to lose, I say.
I agree. I definitely agree with that. It's the Eagles to lose. So I definitely agree with that 100%. Now let's go on and look at the NFC North. I mean, we have the Green Bay Packers, who lost Aaron Rodgers. So it should be interesting to see how Jordan Love does. We have, Jared Goff and the Lions. Are they gonna make some noise this year or what? He wasn't, like Jared Goff wasn't too bad for me fantasy wise, and I got him again. You have those Bears, so we'll see what happens. And then we have Kirk Cousins and the Vikings. So how do you see the NFC North?
So I got a lot of love for Kirk Cousins because he's consistent every year, and now he had clearly he has Justin Jefferson, which is the best wide receiver in the league. But then he also has Addison, and Addison is taking over that role that Adam Thielen had. And Adam Thielen, he was always a threat for that red zone. Now you get a younger guy, way more athletic, just gets into the league. Now you pair him with Justin Jefferson. Yeah, Kirk Cousins is gonna have fun with both of those guys, So I appreciate Kirk Cousins. I also watched him on quarterbacks, and I really enjoyed watching his journey because he really did build himself up into one of these stable, and consistent quarterbacks, guy that you can trust and make good decisions and stuff, So I love that for them. I don't like their running back situation at all. You lose Dalvin Cook, and then Madison is going to be your RB1. He's not a RB1. He's not a 3-down back. He is a good, a placeholder. He's a guy that, if your guy goes down, your big one goes down, he can be, serviceable. There's no way I see him, passing 1,000 yards, a 200 and 300 receiving, this season. I just don't see it, So I think they're actually going to take a step back this year. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Detroit is going to be number one. That is my guess, especially when you talk about Amon-Ra, St. Brown and Jared Goff's connection, and then, they have Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery over there. They added talent. So, and they look more stable on all fronts. Jared Goff is very underrated as a quarterback, and he's another stable guy, He's not a superstar, but he doesn't need to be. He needs to get the ball in the right hands at the right time, make the right decisions. He did that last year. He's going to have a better year this year. I really do think they're going to be number one in the North, and that's a hot take, I think.
Yeah, that's a hot take. I like it though. But that's definitely a hot take. That's definitely a hot take. Yeah, we had a trade today, so I'm hoping that it works out for me. Let's put it that way. So in my head, I want to, both these quarterbacks are, Jared Goff and Kirk Cousins are my quarterbacks. So, but it'd be nice to see Kirk do well. So that's
this is the thing. This is the thing, Malika, right? His success hinges on his wide receivers talent. He has the best wide receiver in the league, and he got him 1,600 yards last year. So that means that ball is in the air constantly. And when you look at how
and he can throw. Kirk Cousins can't throw that ball.
He can throw the ball, but he also has a guy in Addison who's going to do more than Thielen did. Because Thielen, he was older and he was more, kind of just, run down a little bit. Addison is going to even do better than Thielen, So, and they got Hawkinson over there. I think Kirk Cousins is going to have a hell of a season in the air. As long as Madison can keep up, then, it's going to be great. But I still think he's going to be consistent. I still think he's going to be about 4,000 yards this season. And he's going to have multiple touchdowns. He's going to have a lot of touchdowns because he has Jefferson and Addison. So you'll be fine. That double up is going to be nice, Malika.
That's nice. What I'm looking forward to it. I did some playing around with my roster today. I had to figure out the app, but yeah, I'm looking forward to fantasy this year. I'm excited about the season. Quick question: Are you? You're going to do red zone? You're not going to do like the Sunday ticket? I keep going back and forth. It is a price tag, but I have YouTube TV, and I love when they do like the four on the screen thing, and I'm leaning towards it, even though it's a price tag. I'm already a YouTube person. I'm leaning towards it, but I haven't made the commitment because I feel like with Red Zone, if I was to subscribe to Red Zone, and I'm going to be watching the Giants, I'm stuck with the Jets too every year, but at least we have Aaron Rodgers. And I can get the highlights of all the other games, and I could do it. Like, I'm leaning towards that, but part of me is like, the fact that I can actually have it this year and I don't go for it. I think the NFL just priced it too high. That's why I haven't done it yet. I would have
Yeah,
done it
big
by
money.
now.
No, it's big money. I haven't
Yeah.
done Red Zone in a minute, and NFL Sunday Ticket I haven't done in a long time as well. But last year I did Amazon Prime, and there were a lot of games that I got to watch on Amazon Prime, and I liked it.
Yeah, I think I take that for granted because I subscribe to so many. I subscribe to a lot of streamers like Amazon Prime. So I already get the Prime games. You know what? I think I'm a chill. Like if I want to see something, I know how to go look for it. So I'll just leave it at that. NFC South. Now you're a Saints fan. I was about to say the Pelicans. You're a Saints fan.
Yep.
You got the Buccaneers in that division. You have the Buccaneers in that conference. You have or division. I forgot the Falcons, and then you're surrounded by. I mean, that's going to be an interesting conference next year. Let's talk about the NFC South. What are your thoughts on the NFC South? Because there's a lot of newness there to me. So let's see what your thoughts are.
Yeah, New Orleans is gonna run away with it, people. Like it just is what it is. Let it go. They're gonna run away with it. They don't have much competition, if any. Tampa Bay, they are bringing on a quarterback who, he's consistent, in Baker Mayfield, but he's not a world beater like everyone thought he was going to be, in the league. That's why he does so much traveling team to team, because he's not that guy. But what he is consistent. I think that the hope for a Baker Mayfield is if he can be a Kirk Cousins. Can he be stable? Or can you be a Jared Goff? If he can have a career like either one of those guys, then Baker Mayfield's going to be fine. You still got Godwin, over there, and you still got Mike Evans. Now you got a new running back in Rachaad White. So we got to see, what kind of season he's going to have. There's a lot of question marks over there, and that defense is not scary at all, like it once was. So I think that they'll be fun. I think that they'll be number 2 in the South, but the margin is going to be so drastically different from the first with the New Orleans Saints. I think New Orleans is going to go at the low end 11-6, high end 12-5, maybe 13-4. I just have a lot of belief in New Orleans. When it comes to Carolina, Bryce Young over there. Then they got DJ Chark, and then they got an older Adam Thielen, so, and then they have Miles Sanders. That team, it has nice pieces, but can they win a lot of games? I don't think so. So a rookie quarterback, let him get his feet wet. I don't see it. Atlanta, you have, Drake London, who had a great season, Algier, but now they have Bijan over there, and they got, what's his name, Ritter, the quarterback in Atlanta, and he's a young guy again. So there's a lot of young guys in this conference and a lot of young players, and they're not really playing for anything but progression. New Orleans has something to play for because they want to get to the playoffs and they really want to compete. So New Orleans is going to run away with the South, hands down.
Natalia, I thought I was talking to you all this time, and I was on mute. See, this is Malika. Like I'm gonna have to edit all of this out. See, now I gotta listen to this. You see what I did to myself. I'm gonna try to time it because I see it's 8:10 and we started around 7:48, 7:49. So I'm gonna try to time it. But what I was saying is, what is the deal? Alvin Kamara is out for 4 games, right? Banned three
No,
games. Can't see
three
it.
games. Yep,
Three
three
games.
games.
And Michael Thomas, what is the deal with him? Is he recovered? Is he back in good graces with the team? Like, what is his deal?
So he's healthy. He is going to play. He's ready to play. He is no longer Mike Thomas of 4 or 5 years ago. He is not going to be that guy. He is older now. He's had some injuries and he's bounced back. Um, he can't do everything that he was doing, before, but he is healthy. He is ready. And I think the medical staff finally got it right with him this time around. We hope. A lot of issues with the medical staff. It was not Michael Thomas. It was the medical staff before. So there were some changes that had to be made, with the staff because he couldn't recover. He hasn't been recovered in 3 years, So, and he's been really trying to get back out there, but he's going to be secondary, he's going to be, the WR2 to Chris Olave, who was fantastic last year. Chris Olave had a hell of a season, and he's going to have a better season this year because he gets a better quarterback, more stable quarterback. He gets Derek Carr. Derek Carr comes over from the Raiders, and that guy can throw 4,000 to 4,500 yards. Now he's on a team with a hell of a great defense, a team with direction, a team that's actually competing, and it makes sense for his skill set. So, New Orleans is going to be great. And Kamara, I mean, that's why they signed Jamal Williams to, fill in for a couple weeks. And then when Kamara gets back, he's going to take over, and the stuff is behind him now. The case is behind him. He didn't get as many games as people thought he was. He only got a few.
Yeah.
So once it hits, I think the last week of September or the first week of October, he's going to be ready to play. That's nothing. So this team, they watch out for them. New Orleans is coming.
New Orleans is coming. Next, we have Carolina Panthers. I mean, they have a rookie quarterback. I feel like Carolina every year they're trying out a new quarterback, but hopefully they found what they need with Bryce Young. Any quick words you want to say about Carolina before we head to the NFC West?
Young team, young quarterback with a couple veteran wide receivers. So there's no world beaters on this team. There's some injury prone guys on this team. This is all about progression and what can Bryce Young be. Maybe 7 wins, 6 wins or so for the season.
So I hear you. Now as we move forward, NFC West. This is San Francisco. I feel like this could be the Los Angeles Rams. This can be a Seattle Seahawks division. San Francisco, their quarterback. I just don't know what Brock Purdy. Like we'll see. They should be, but you know what? Let's hear what your thoughts are on the NFC West, because I look at them with Brock Purdy, San Francisco, and and then the LA Rams. You know what I mean? They, but then Seattle, they got Geno Smith, and he did have a decent season. My fantasy numbers were pretty nice last year. He had a good season. So, what are your thoughts on the NFC West?
So when it comes to the West, I still think it belongs to San Fran. Until it doesn't. I mean,
so you believe in Brock Purdy?
I believe in Christian McCaffrey.
I do too, but he's also injury prone. You need to be able to not overload him with the ball.
I don't think he's injury prone. I think he's a guy that's had some injuries, and I think there's a difference.
Okay.
So I think that he can, he's going to have a load on him, maybe, but he's going to get you about 1,100 yards. He's going to get you about 3
set up for him.
Yeah. 300 to 400 receiving yards. He's going to get you multiple touchdowns. He's a utility guy. He's a receiving back. He's a runner. He breaks tackles. This man is amazing. When healthy, he's the best running back in the league.
I agree with that. I do agree. He's great when he's healthy. I'm just hoping he can stay healthy. And I wanted
he was good last year.
He was good last year. I wanted your quick thoughts on Brock Purdy. You had San Francisco. Trey Lance. And like you had him being Mr. Irrelevant in a draft, and he went from Mr. Irrelevant to the starting quarterback. Good for him. What do like with Brock Purdy, like what are some like some good things you about his game that you like?
So last year he played carefree and under control.
Mm-hmm.
He did exactly what you needed a guy. He couldn't do any more than what he did, and it was enough by far. He was a guy that he was stable. He got the ball in the right hands at the right time, like damn near all the time. He was tough. He listened. He was smart. They actually had a lot of confidence in him. The players. So that spells for something great. Let's see if he can replicate it this year. Like, let's be honest. The great thing about guys that you know nothing about is you know nothing about them. So you don't know any habits. You don't have any tape. You don't know how they're going to do this, how they're going to do that. Now there's multiple games of Brock Purdy from last year. Now people are going to plan for him. So let's see. You're going to see who he is. If not necessarily this year, definitely like that third season, that's when you'll really see who he is. But this year, he'll be stable, I think, and we'll see what he can do when the defense settles in on him and understands what he wants to do. That's how we're going to be able to tell Brock Purdy. So we'll probably have this conversation again when it gets to about 5 to 6 games deep in the season. Yeah. And then we'll say, okay, this is what he's doing, and this is what he's struggling with, and then this is what he's, progressing with. So still, the jury's still out on Brock Purdy a little bit, but the rest of that team, they can carry him. And that's what's scary about San Fran. They're so good. They have Kittle, they have Ayuk, they have Debo, they have Christian McCaffrey, but right after Christian McCaffrey is Elijah Mitchell, who is a 3-down back himself, just has some injury issues. And then they got Brock Purdy. So it's still San Fran. It's their conference to lose.
And what are your thoughts on the rest of like Seattle and the rest of the NFC West?
So Arizona, they're going to be last. I think they're going to be a worse team, probably in the NFC as a whole. They're going to be terrible. They're going to be absolutely horrible, like horrendous. And there's nothing you can do about it. They have Marquise Brown, but then they have a young quarterback, Kyler Murray. They might sit him out the whole season. I'm hearing reports.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, they might. And I think it's a financial move for them. He might be done the whole season. And if that's so, I mean, the defense has always been horrendous, pretty much. I can't remember a year where they were just like juggernauts defensively. The offense is going to be, blah. I think the only guy, the only guy I like for like any fantasy purposes is James Conner, because anytime, he's in these situations, he propels and he does so well, so. He propels forward, and he's a guy that you put the ball in his hands. He can do a lot with it as long as he's feeling good and healthy, and the O-line is at least decent. That's all. That's the only person you can depend on, and it's not going to be a lot of wins. So I'm going to say they're going to get about 4 to 5 wins this season, and I think I'm being really nice saying 4.
Yeah. I mean, what about the Rams?
Rams are going to be bad too. I mean, they're going to give you about 6 to 7 games. Cooper Kupp is not healthy. That hamstring, that he's getting second opinions on it. Cam Akers, he looks so damn good for some stretches, and then we're trying to figure out what the hell happened. But Cam Akers, I think they're going to give him the ball finally. And we'll see what he can do for a whole season. We'll just see, but I think Tyler.
What are some positive sides to the Rams? I was thinking the Rams. What are some positive sides to the Rams? Like
positives is the tight end looks good. Tyler Higbee, I think, is consistent.
Stafford. They have. Are they really
it's not going to be great. it's not going to be great for them either. I mean, Stafford is he's not a world beater anymore. I mean, he's he's been really good his whole career. Now he's had some injuries, and I believe in his elbow or parts of his arm, but he's got to throw the damn ball, and I think it's his throwing arm that he's had those
That's
issues.
a good point. I think I'm thinking about the Chargers.
Yeah.
I could be possibly thinking about the Chargers, but for some reason I just didn't see I thought the Rams wouldn't be, but you're right. The point you brought up does make sense about the Rams. So the way we're seeing it, San Francisco, Seattle, the Rams, then Arizona will be last. So as you look at, like the NFC West, you see the San Francisco winning the NFC West. NFC South would be New Orleans Saints. For the NFC North, you said the Detroit Lions, which still bodes well for me. And then for NFC East, you see Dallas. Who do you see making?
No, I don't see Dallas. I see Philly. Philly. Still gonna...
Oh, sorry about that, Philly. Who do you see getting to the championship game? Who Philly playing?
Who is Philly playing? Oof. I'm gonna say, Jesus. I'm gonna say the Bengals. It's gonna be
the NFC. Who are they playing in the NFC Championship game?
Oh, the NFC Championship. Shit. Okay. I thought you were talking about the Super Bowl. My bad.
So that'll be. We'll go through who makes the Super Bowl next. But yeah, I'm curious of who's going to make the NFC champ. Who's playing the Eagles?
I'm gonna pick New Orleans, man. I'm not gonna go against my guys. I think that they are one of the most stable teams in the NFC East. Well, the NFC, excuse me. And they're poised to win. They got the defense, they got the wide receiver. They got the quarterback, they got the run game. They have it. So I'm gonna go my guys, New Orleans versus Philly, and I'm still taking my guys. So,
and it's funny, like I feel like the NFC is like the Eastern Conference in the NBA.
Yeah, a little bit.
Because you have the AFC, that's the Western Conference, and you know what I mean. That's where you have the big. That's where you have the more complete teams, and the better quarterbacks. And with the NFC, they're like, you have you have clear top teams. Like the Phillies, the New Orleans, like you
gotta put Dallas in there.
Yeah. You gotta put Dallas in there. You have a clear top 4 or 5, and then the rest are just fighting to matter and to be relevant. But I do think my Giants have a chance to. I think we have a chance to really do some. But you have 3 decent teams in the NFC East. Like I think the NFC East, because you have those 3 teams in the NFC East, that's going to be like a competitive conference on the NFC side. So, with Washington watching again. But, we went through the NFC. So, thanks guys for tuning in to our we'll be back. I'm not gonna have Natalia pick the Super Bowl yet. Actually, you know what, Natalia? Super Bowl. You said Cincinnati and Philly. So between Cincinnati and Philly, who's gonna win the Super Bowl? Your too early prediction. You're too early in this. We haven't seen one snap. Not nothing. Joe Burrow, we don't, we'll see how he, do you still say Cincinnati or do you?
I'm going to say this is Cincinnati's year to win the Super Bowl.
Okay.
I think it's them.
So you think, Philadelphia gets to the dance, but no cigar again? You don't think?
Yeah, I think it's too early. My heart of all hearts is saying that it's not going to be Philly in the Super Bowl. I think I'm using my head with this one. But I just think that overall this year, Cincinnati is the one team that has everything. And therefore they just have to put it together at the right time, and more so get stops. When that defense needs to be a lot tougher, stop soft tackling, and put people in the dirt and keep them there. But the offense, I think, is going to be explosive. I really do think this is Cincinnati's year.
Okay, so there you have it. We have our part 1 and part 2 are both complete of our NFL preview. Check us out this season. We'll do some check-ins during the season. We'll also check in on some college football. We did have some action this weekend. Of course, Colorado is all the rage, but there's only one game. And I like what I saw, but there's only one game. So let's, let it percolate a little longer. And we'll have a college football check-in as well. So thanks for checking us out. You can catch Natalia, ReesRebel, on Twitter when I post this, or on X, however you want to refer to the app. When I post this, I'll have her handle on how you can find her. And Natalia, give your deets on your podcast.
Absolutely. So the Three-Peat podcast, we had season 1, wrap up back in June, a few months ago. Now we are kicking off season 2, September 11th. And we're going to have a guest. Going to have some people. It's going to be more explosive. We've got our foot in the door. We got a little loose, and now we're off and running. So 3P Podcast, we're part of the TSS Fantasy Group, and we're on YouTube, and we go live, and we're going to start now Mondays at 7 o'clock going live. So you can catch me every Monday going forward till the finals every Monday at 7 p.m.
And she knows her stuff, guys. She knows her stuff, so definitely check her out. So thanks, Natalia, for being here. Appreciate it. And Hoops and Huddle is out.